record.
Oh, is this thing on?
Yeah, this thing's on. All right.
Did we do this right?
Yeah. So this is Saddleborn Podcast, and we are here with Michelle Filippini, Sadie Shake, Chantel Carter, and we are going to be chatting up Travis Baulch, and he's going to tell us all about his Stockdogs.
Welcome, Travis.
How's it going? Good to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
No worries. It's super fun.
Yeah.
Every time I get a chance to talk is great.
Yeah. So we are hoping, can you explain to us pretty much what you do? What are the dog trials? What are your stock dogs? Break it down for someone who has never been around them before.
I guess so. For what I do is train dogs for ranch settings, your trial settings, and anything, any type of dog. But the trial guys like to. It's a hobby sport, and it's just a fun go out and try to show off, really. Mm-hmm. And it's just moving cattle through a set of obstacles to get points and time.
Yeah.
The sheep trials as well, which is very similar. Sheep trials are judged, where cattle trials are they are still judged, but it's so many points through each obstacle, and it's the fastest time wins.
Okay, so it's as efficiently as you can get it done.
Yes,
right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So quickly, efficiently, and then do you get like DQs for like not doing it as missing a point or something like that?
Yeah, no, you don't really get DQ'd. They're pretty in the trial world. It's really, really fun to have anyone come because they're not hard nosed on mistakes, especially for novice handlers. Mm-hmm. You can make a few mistakes and still complete and still place. Mm-hmm. As you go up in the categories of classes, like you got open. Nursery, which is a dog under 3, and then you got intermediate, and then novice, which novice being the beginners and going up. But so they're really forgiving and a good community to get around and talk to and learn dogs because everyone wants to help everyone. It's a really fun community to be in.
So in the novice class, does the dog have to be a certain age, or can it be an experienced dog with a novice handler?
Experienced dog with novice handler. Mm. A lot of guys, like some people will go out and want to do it. It's like want to get into cutting or something. Mm. You go buy a fully trained cutting horse. You can enter.
So you can have the best and still be novice.
Yes, mm-hmm. And it's more of the handler. The dogs can be awesome. Really trained and really well, but until you understand how to work your dog and read the cattle correct, you're just as bad as a guy that works a lot of cattle but has a bad dog. Mm-hmm. So
because you guys work as a team.
Yeah, it's a hard deal because you got to it's your mind, the dog's mind, and 3 cows. Mm-hmm. Sometimes 5.
Only 3? No, 3 to 5.
Yeah, it's I'd say 98% of the trials are 3 cattle.
Oh, wow.
Which is even harder.
Yeah.
It's not just one.
Much harder.
Yeah. No, but there's a lot of the cattle have seen dogs before, so they're kind of, you're not dog breaking, and you do have a time limit. It's usually average of 5 minutes, depending on the course.
So they're not desert wild cattle that have never seen people or dogs before.
Some trials, I've been to a couple that are, but I like those ones because they're the ones that it's like you go to someone's house to day work and they might not use dogs, and you bring your dogs. You've got to bring something to they've got to. It's just dogs got to prove it, and some dogs can't.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like it translates to the real world.
Yeah,
right?
That's what I really want.
Yeah,
that's what it is, and that's probably going to get me shot in a lot of the trial. But there is a difference, but between trialing and real work. But it's a grey area because you are moving cattle, and the dogs that are there are so trained and well behaved. They could do both if they wanted to. The strength of the dog determines if they can go out and move a pair like a cow and a calf versus a yearling, or untrained cattle and trained cattle. But there is a lot of nice dogs out there that can't go out to the real world and be successful at. A lot of these guys use them on the ranch and their day-to-day jobs, so that's what a lot of people get into it.
So going back to the beginning, if you were to pick a puppy, how do you pick a puppy?
That's the biggest question I get asked a lot, and to be honest, it goes for any dog breed, any type of puppy you want to pick.
And normally they're Australian Shepherds or Border Collies?
I only have Border Collies. Well, being Australian, I have to keep a couple Kelpies around. But that's
You're not Australian if you don't?
I'll get my citizenship revoked if I don't have a couple. But Border Collies seem to be primarily what's used and the most competitive. There is some really nice other breeds out there, but they're the Corvette. The Border Collies are the Corvette of the dog world.
So you can show up at trial and there can be any breed of dog?
100%.
Okay.
I seen a Rottweiler actually in Denver. And
Wow.
Yeah,
How did it do?
He did good for what I thought. It was amazing to see him work. He had no stock drive or prey drive. But the lady did a heck of a job just teaching him left and right and doing all that stuff. She was he had a lot of fun.
That's cool. Yeah, I love
So
it.
you're telling me Cece can do
Yeah, there's a chance.
There's a chance. So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
But yeah. But no, I think for puppies, like my dad said, is just you just go there and you pick the one you like, because that's the one that's going to go with you. You want to take him. You want to take him everywhere with you because you like it.
Yeah.
A lot of people pick on. They have a lot of rules like the mouth color and the old things that they and the most
I'm
busy
just
one
gonna
and
ask
sleep.
nuance, like does it come to you and you don't like that, or
No, you just pick the one. It's personal preference because you just pick the one you like.
So do you think the handler has a stronger bond if it owns a puppy and grows with a puppy versus buying a trained dog from a trainer and then working with it and going to trials?
Yeah, I think you can get because you do have to create a bond. They have to trust you,
Yeah.
and they know to be fair with them. Like that's the everything. When you buy a dog trained, you pick it. It doesn't pick you. So
Right.
you've got to adjust to that dog's training from whoever trained it. You got to learn. You got to adjust to that dog. Versus if you do get a puppy, every step of learning that puppy's ever seen is what you've taught it. So the bond's there. So it's a 50-50. I've seen people buy some pretty nice dogs that take a minute to. It's not like a car, jump in and go. They're not a machine.
There's no gas and brake.
No, there is, but they take a minute and they've got to fit you and you've got to fit them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just like horses?
Yeah,
Yeah, it
that's
is.
what it sounds like.
If-
Yeah.
if you can ride a horse and train a horse, you can train a dog.
Yeah.
Very
And your bad
nice.
habits can translate to your dog or your style.
Every sense.
Yes.
Okay.
Darn
it.
I've been doing it a fair while and I'm still coming across bad habits, so I have.
I think we all have bad habits.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
Whether
from
we own them or
personal
not, we do.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
So, do neutered males work harder or not neutered males? Is there a preference? Or it just depends if they're clearly breeding them or not?
yeah, I look for. So my favourite colour of work dog is work.
Yeah.
So neutered, non-neutered, female, male, whatever, or like.
Love that.
It's just whatever's has a drive to
Okay.
work, and so if they're neutered or not, it doesn't really matter. It just depends on the dog and what he wants to do and how he clicks into the whole. Because some of these border collies can be really good to train, and they want to go to work, and
Yeah.
then they have a couple bad experiences, and the job's just not for them. It's like
Right.
taking a guy that he's an office guy, and you take a cowboy guy,
Mm-hmm.
and you switch roles. They're going to do horrible at each other's job, and they're just not built for it, and that's okay. And that's what the border collies have. If they don't fit the cow world, they might fit the sheep world, they might fit the agility world. They're not all gonna be superstars, and that's when you're going back to picking a puppy. It's you put a lot of time and work into it, but be prepared that that's just not the job for them. And unless you go to you hire your chances with genetics and breeders and proven stock, but yeah, no, it's a gamble.
So the non-super dog, trial dog, it could still be a working ranch dog. It just doesn't like the judges.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, that's the biggest thing. There's guys that have ranch dogs at home. They're a hell of a nice dogs, and they think they're bad, but the dog knows the ranch. He knows the guy. He knows the cattle, and that dog can do phenomenal things.
Right.
And I can bring up.
In the comfort of home.
Yes, yeah, and that dog can do phenomenal things, and that guy can get any job done.
Yeah.
But I can take my trial dogs there or work my ranch dogs there, and we'll be out of place. Your dog will look 9 times out of 10 probably better than mine. I'll have control and stopping and left and right and all this fancy stuff, but if your dog knows where it's going, he's just a really another man that's just doing the job without
That's
having
cool.
to tell.
Yeah, he likes his job.
So I wonder if in horses, a lot confidence in your competition is a big thing. So is that the same with the dogs? Like your dog needs to be confident in what it's doing.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the biggest thing. It is like a horse or anything. If your dog comes in confident, even if he isn't a savage cow biter, if he walks up to a cow like he's gonna bite it, he'll move the cow. And that confidence, I truly believe, is the number one thing in training anything. If you have a confident animal, it's gonna do the best it can do. Maybe it's not a world beater, but it is confident enough to do its best.
So that makes me wonder, because border collies tend to be a little bit more timid dog. How do you get their confidence up so that when they are disciplined, that they still want to keep going, keep working?
Well, it's funny. Like there is a lot of strong-willed, aggressive border collies out there, and I have quite a few, and they try to test you a little bit more. But the non-confident ones is you're just showing, and you can't go and beat on them.
Right.
They've got to have a little faith, and you got to create the bond. It's like a leadership deal. Once a border collie wants to trust you to be the leader, he'll do anything for you.
Yeah, they want to make you proud.
Yeah. That's
All
why
right.
that's why I like them more than horses.
Yeah, that's ours. If you even look at her sideways, she's like,
Yeah, don't give me that look.
I don't think you meant that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back
Cool.
home.
Yeah, and there is things to that too. They're pretty smart, and if they're always looking for the right answer, and if you say that whining and hiding under the horse trailer away from me, or getting scared and running off is not the right. Showing them that that's not the right answer. The right answer is with me doing the work. It's pretty quick. They just get over it. They're like people, horses, or anything. They all have different personalities, and you've got to work with to get the best out of the dog. And it's the same like a horse. He might be slow turning to the left or slow, whatever, but you got to accentuate everything else to make him good in all his other aspects, and he will get better than what he originally was. It's just he might not like that much.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an interesting concept because, like when they're being timid, instead of babying them through the timid, you kind of go the opposite way then.
Yeah, it's like a horse in a round pen that if he faces his butt to you or in a pen and you want to go up and catch him, a lot of people will just be like, oh, I'll just sneak around him and hope he doesn't kick me in the belly. But if you say, hey, that's unacceptable behaviour, and you add more pressure and say, hey, you will give me both eyes and face me, if you teach him that, he's like, okay, I know acceptable behaviour, and when I get in the pen, you better be looking at me so I can go put your halter on.
I'm going to take that home.
Yep.
She's 11, but she...
So we don't baby them.
Training old dog new tricks.
Yeah, definitely. I see it all the time. It's a big thing. It's like, no, this is it. You got to hold them accountable for their actions.
Absolutely.
Because they are
like a toddler.
kids. It's exactly the same as the kids. It's like
They almost like discipline.
Yep.
It's rewarding.
Yeah.
It's attention. Like, that's what the boundary is, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I like the dogs over the horses, is only because the dog only wants to do the right thing.
Yeah.
He might seem like he does, but usually it's the handlers or the person that owns the dog's fault to put him in a situation that he doesn't understand. And he just goes back to what's been built into him for 500 years is do this because he thinks it's the right thing. And without being educated, people lose their tempers, but they're the ones that are the person that didn't show them anything. So it's on them. And that's the same with the horse. Is like the dog only wants to do the right thing, and he loves you, and every time he sees you, he wants to be your friend. Where a horse, every time they see you, is like, God damn it, this guy's going to ride me. And I want to just, they only do the right thing. Just
No
to
matter how much green I give him, he still doesn't want to
why
be
does he
ridden.
love me?
Yeah, exactly. They only get away from the pressure. They just move off the pressure so they can get over with and get back out of the field with their friends.
Yeah.
Where a dog would spend 24 hours a day with you.
Yeah.
So Travis, let's get dialed in on you. Let's talk about you and your dog.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I love the dog world. We can talk about the dog world forever, but what's your dog's name? You have more than one dog.
I have quite a few.
How many?
I have about 9 personal dogs
9.
and about 8 in training for other people right now.
Oh,
So there's
Really?
a lot of names and a lot of
Like dog 1, 2, and
So how many hours a day do you spend training?
I try to keep it. It takes me
Or I guess on one dog.
about 15 minutes.
15 minutes?
It doesn't take very long.
Or it gets old and boring and relentless?
Yeah, it's like the trick to with horses, dogs, and everything is it's mental. And I mean, if you take a guy that digs holes every day for 10 hours,
Yeah.
and he digs holes from 5 in the morning till whatever time at night, and it's Friday afternoon, his buddies call him up and say, "Hey, I got some good-looking girls down the bar." he'll get home and shower up, and he'll go to the bar until 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Versus,
Yeah. And it gets hard. Like,
that's
that's
physical.
it gets hard. Those blisters on the hands, it gets hard. So
Yeah.
the 15 minutes keeps it fun and fresh and let's go and probably
guess I
the
have time for
drive high.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And so and some dogs you can work longer. Like there is other dogs, but with the postal thing, it's like he comes there, goes to the bar till 2 in the morning. He'll go to work the next day. You talk to the guy that is landing the airplanes at LAX, and he does an 8-hour day.
Yep.
His mental
Right.
state, he hasn't done
It's
any
healthier.
physical.
Yes.
He's down and out. He's asleep.
Rolling
So
out,
I try to get in the dog's mind more because you can't outrun them, and you can't. You'll never wear a border collie out in a training
No.
session. So I try to get those guys mentally done, and it takes about 15 minutes on average, where you'll make them pant and like they've run for
Yeah.
10 hours and they just can't handle anymore.
But
and
they
put 'em
still
on-
have the endless border collie battery.
they've got a lot of energy, but it's reading the animal. That's the biggest thing, is reading how far and knowing to release the pressure.
So what, take your dogs, the dogs not in training, the dogs you actually own. What's your youngest?
The youngest one I got is probably 6 months.
And what's your oldest?
Oh, so I've got that have been trained, I guess, would be 4.
4?
Yeah, and then I have some old ranch dogs, and he's like 11.
Yeah.
But he's like a fat old grumpy man.
Yeah, he used to do
Perfect, yeah.
trials.
No, he didn't. He kind of just got thrown to the wall, like thrown out in the job training,
Oh, yeah.
and he's okay. But for the caliber of dogs I have now, he's outgunned.
Still tell him he's a superstar.
I do.
And he was the best.
I love him. I take
He
him
needs
everywhere.
to hear all of it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he causes a lot of wrecks that they have to fix.
A lot of reps. It sounds like me.
But I get him out there so he can. He's just a fat old guy now, so he kind of disciplines them with his.
In his mind, he still thinks he's handsome and skinny and
Yeah, he
buffed
thinks
up.
he thinks
Yeah.
he's pretty rich.
Don't tell him
but,
differently.
And
Yes.
he's a Kelpie, so he gets to come.
Oh, good.
Oh, he wants to retire in
about the
Australia.
Yeah, he's my token Kelpie, so
Yeah.
I get to.
When he barks, does he have an accent?
Yeah, he kind of does. Yeah, he kind of does.
Say he's not to ask a question, I can tell. Go.
Well, now you put me on the spot.
I know.
Dang it,
Sorry.
Michelle.
Time's ticking.
Why'd you do that? I kept on feeling like I was interrupting
No,
because
you're
of that. I'm like talking. So I talk really loud on the microphone.
No, you're good.
This is
good.
the edit part.
No, this is perfect.
Okay, so pretty much, I wanted to go back to where you were talking about. It's about 15 minutes a day, right,
Yep,
for
yep,
each
yep,
dog. So,
yep.
like, if someone were starting out and they thought, "Oh, I could never get one trained because I don't have the time," it's literally 15 minutes, but being consistent, right?
Yeah, it is, and it's all about. That's the best thing about them compared to horses. It's quality of time, not quantity. So a dog
Yeah.
you can work for 10 minutes one day, 15 minutes. I recommend doing like 3 days. So for anyone that's just starting, is just put 3 days, and then you can go a week without touching them,
Really?
and they'll retain it so much better because they want to do the right thing. And you can do that. Like I train, and there's some dogs that you train 3 days and he can have 3 days off and he's better for it than working him every day. So it's not like a horse, and it is hard for the everyday rancher it's hard enough getting done with work to go home and feed them. You're
Yeah.
pretty much done with the day at 7 o'clock at night. You don't want to go out and play around with the dog, and that's okay. There is so many different ways you just got to find a program that fits for you.
Yeah. And it's probably like keeping stock around, right? Like,
Yeah, there is, and that's a hard part for people
Yeah.
is keeping. I don't have the sheep or the training stock, or I don't have the training calves. But really, you could go out and and training a dog gets complicated and people get overwhelmed by it, but truly you start off with a puppy that's mother and father worked and its grandparents worked, or from a good breeder or good genetics, at least the ones you like, the type of dog you like, and then you can teach it a down and then a recall, and you can go to work with it if you've got a good down and a good recall. Its natural capabilities will take it out, and it'll go do some jobs, and if it's in the wrong spot, you say down, and if it's causing a lot of trouble, you call it back.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty good helping hand.
Yeah, it keeps you kind of out of trouble with anybody you're helping too. Like,
Yeah.
if you get your dog back to you,
Yeah.
they're not going to want to shoot you.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the easiest part. That's basic of it. All it is just if you can send the dog, which is however you want, and it sees cattle, it's going to want to go.
Yeah.
You can stop the dog and call it back. You've got a pretty nice dog that will learn over the years just on the job. With what I do is I condense. Everyone has that pup that causes them a lot of trouble, and they're yelling and screaming at it for the first year or two, and then it gets to 5, and they're like, "I love this dog. This is the best dog I've ever had."
Should have never yelled at it.
Yeah. And I'm just condensing it down to where you're a year and a half old to 2, and you're good for the rest of the years, and you don't have to do that. So that's all training is just condensing. Same as a horse. If you aren't a horse trainer and you ride a horse every day, eventually it's going to be pretty nice to ride. It might be 10, but it'll be pretty nice to ride.
Yeah, and as long as you're like putting the time in, right? Like there's nothing like saddle equity, right? Like you're putting the time in, and even if you know nothing,
Quality.
you can get somewhere with it.
Like on our schedules, I mean, sometimes I'm just hurrying up, trying to get saddled real quick, and it's 15 minutes, and that's all I have.
Yeah.
But it's
I see you
quality.
going home in the dark sometimes in your stories.
Yeah,
but you got the time in.
Yeah, and the horses crave that, just like the dogs do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's quality of time, and if you've got it, do it. And if you don't, that's okay.
Are there certain drills that are your go-tos? Do you have a routine with it?
Yeah, I have kind of a program, and a guy showed me this program. His name is Roy Cox. He is, if you want to get into dog training, I would get onto his videos. He has all the tips. I'm pretty sure he can talk dog, but so I follow his program, and pretty much to a T. There is variations. It's like everything. You've got to make the program fit you and what you want to do. So I start them off with some of the dogs I get are either a little bit spoiled, a little pushy. They're a little bit crazy, but I teach a thing called a sanction, which is I teach them that I'm the boss, and it's not like beating the head against the fence. It's mental. I use a growl, which is their mother already taught them that. So I growl at them. They know that usually, because if a puppy's nursing on its mother and scratching her or biting her, she'll growl, and if he doesn't stop, she'll bite him. So I use a growl on that.
Are you going to share that with us?
Yeah.
What's your reward though when they do good? Are they food driven or just
No.
happy voice?
Yeah.
What do you do?
It's a funny thing. Like, I don't use any treats, only because them working their livestock is the treat,
Oh, okay.
and a good dog is just as good as
They
anything.
can't wait to get to it.
Yeah, they love it. Like, that's what I call their candies. When I say, "Oh, good dog, walk up, work your stock," and they love being non-micromanaged.
Yeah.
So when they're messing up, I'll intervene and I'll start micromanaging, and that upsets them. They're like, "Gosh, dang it!" And then because I need them to work, I need to show them how to work when I'm not there. So when I send them over a hill or a mile away, they can
do it without you. That's amazing.
They figure it out.
Absolutely
they go
amazing.
And they, in their head, I'm still there. And
Right.
I've showed them repetition. It's like the barrel horses that the girl falls off right out the gate, and the horse still runs a pattern.
Yeah,
It's
like I know what I'm supposed to do out here. I don't know what
Right.
you're doing back there.
Why are you back there?
exactly.
Thought you're on my back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the biggest thing is repetition is huge, and teaching them how to handle their livestock while I'm showing them how I like it, and then when they go where I can't see them, they're going to handle it the same way because that's all they know.
That's so impressive to me. Amazing.
Yeah, and it's really easy. It isn't a hard thing for anyone that wants to get into it. It is really rewarding too, because in 30 days or 30 work, even in 7 works, you'll see such a huge change in your dog and what you can do with them. It's amazing.
So that reminds me what got you into stock dogs and
So,
competition.
yeah, I always liked dogs, and I always had either some sort of cow dog, and we used to hunt pigs in Australia, so I had pig dogs, and then I came over here and there's no pigs because it's too freaking cold.
Yeah. Like, dang, there's no pigs here?
Yeah.
I think it's getting warmer.
Yeah. Not warm enough.
Yeah.
And I always moved cows, and I liked that, and so a dog always come in super handy. So I really enjoy watching a nice dog work.
Yeah.
If I own it or someone else owns it or it's on the ranch, if that dog's nice just to watch work, it's really good. So I trained a couple of them early on in the stage when I first moved over here, just to take with me and so I could enjoy them working. And then I started going to a couple more clinics, Roy's actually, and getting a little further along and seeing the benefit on the ranch of I don't have to ride up that hill. I don't have to have another guy around.
Yeah, it
I
leaves
don't-
you a little more independent. Like, you're not depending on
People.
people.
Yeah.
Because there isn't a dog, a work dog in the world that says, I can't do it, I'm sick.
Yeah.
Or, man,
The
that-
battery's back, it's charged.
yeah, exactly. So I enjoyed them for that. And then getting into it, it's like these trials are fun to go visit with other like-minded people.
That's so fun. The conversation is endless at places like that. Probably.
Oh, it's huge. And there's
Yeah.
every single one of them guys wants to help or show you something. And
Yeah.
So that
So you guys
never
are
stop
all on
learning.
each other's team all the time. Like,
100%. Because everyone
let's
knows.
teach each other and let's learn and let's go.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's
and-
how life should be.
Yeah, it is. It's
Yes.
a big thing because everyone knows how much work goes into it.
Yeah.
And from a puppy, even the puppy stage, getting a one that is a good one that wants to work, and then getting it to where it's the training is at the trial. It's so accurate and so precise to get that dog to be. And the craziest thing is, you can have a really nice dog, and one day he's having a bad day. He might be stopping 2 seconds later than he normally should,
Yeah.
or doing this, or he might be super aggressive one day, or not aggressive enough. So it's a fun deal when it all clicks together, because it is when you're controlling 4 minds and then plus your own, so it's 5. It's pretty hard to.
That is so neat.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. So you talked about you have quite a few dogs at your house.
Mm-hmm.
So just a couple.
Animal control, you can stay out of my area.
Dogs.
Stay out
You
of
live in Lamoille. It's fine. There's no animal control.
I live in
there, is there?
Halleck.
It's out of association. Yeah. Okay.
So with that, is there like a big turnover in like as far as like pedigrees go? So I know like in the horse world, it's becoming more and more specialized, right? Are we seeing that in the dogs as well?
A little bit, I guess. There is some. The trial world has some really nice trial dogs that me. And again, this might get me shot, but personally, I wouldn't use them for a average day ranch guy because
Gotcha.
they can move these cattle that are already seen dogs before, and so it's not as. I wish it was more catalogued like a cutting. You go to anywhere in the world. The cuttings judge the same. They all stop on their turns and how they work a cow, and so everyone's breeding for that metallic cat, fancy.
Yeah,
sort
that's
of,
what I was. I'm like, is there a
Yeah.
metallic cat of dogs?
No.
Like, yeah.
No, where there's no catalogue to it because you might have a dog and I might have a dog and we think they're great, and we breed them and we'll put 8 puppies out into the world, thinking they're the awesomest things in the world, and the guy down the road might think they're pieces of shit.
Yeah.
So it
That's
is.
anywhere though.
Yeah,
With
it is.
any animal breeding.
Yeah.
Is it a little more emotion, maybe? Like,
I just keep
Yeah,
thinking
it
like,
is,
oh
yeah.
man, I wish you would have known Fallon. Like, I wish you could have trained her because I think she's so great. But you'd probably, ooh, she sucks.
They're all easy. Like they're all wanting to be trained, and it's like a kid at school. If you can keep his mind craving learning and don't let him get bored.
Yeah.
The same as a horse. If you're going to start a colt and you just ride the round pen for the first 30 days, he's going to be pretty pissed off.
yeah,
Versus if you're just trying to keep their mind craving learning.
something
Yeah.
new all the time, right?
Yeah,
Kind
so-
of keep them on their toes.
Yes, exactly.
So sometimes when I'm scrolling on social media and I think so much is fake on social media, but I see those dogs jump up on like the cattle or the sheep.
Yep.
Can you make your dogs do that?
I can't.
Like on command, like jump up.
It takes a pretty special dog. A lot of them dogs haven't got as. They actually, that's not true. Them dogs do have a lot of prey drive. They're taught that, and with the cows, with the sheep, you could.
They are taught it, so they're doing what they're told.
Yes, they know exactly, and it's super handy in the sheep because sheep are dumb as
I love
shit.
to watch it. They're
And they're so dumb, and I hate sheep. But I have sheep, so but they it is a very good skill, and them guys use it like crazy. On the cattle, not so much, but a lot of my dogs, I like a real pushy, aggressive dog that a lot of people would probably not like. Only if my dogs run in and grab something, they're meaning it, and they might hang on. And as an untrained one, if you got a puppy and they're untrained, they'd be the one that run a lot of stuff through the fence. But the reason I like them dogs is a guy can get one of those killers, which I call them, they're killers, and they really truly are. They'd murder all those sheep that you're trying to jump in. They wouldn't be
it's like
very...
Wile E. Coyote out there.
There's no jumping on the backs doing tricks.
And they are, and I like them because once you can dial that down, you have it's a very polite animal that carries a big stick. And on your worst day of moving cows, the longest week you've had, that dog will die to move whatever cow you want, versus these other ones are a little softer. They'll weaken. It's like a horse. Some of them take training really well, and then you have a long day, they kind of plugging along. But if you got one that's kind of an arsehole, really, he's still, once he's trained, he's still moving along, and he might even buck you off or throw you off or something at any time. But you're not kicking him, and he's going to work a cow, and he's a tough bugger.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
It's a good analogy.
Yeah.
Big
That
stick.
was good.
And I feel like it's good for your cows too. If you get something that wants to come back and fight the whole time,
Yep.
you take a timid dog that runs off, pretty soon that cow, you can't get it to move anywhere,
Yeah,
right?
ruin their dog's confidence too.
Yep, and
So-
it really is. You're right.
Yeah.
That's 100% thing, and there is a diplomatic thing to that. Even the strongest dog has to, because a cow and a calf is the toughest thing to move.
Yeah.
To a dog, which is everyone's like telling their dogs to get out, and cow fights, and then there'll be 5-10 more come back.
because then you're dealing with the motherly instinct, right?
Yeah, 100%. So it's-
that overrides everything, right?
It really does.
Yeah.
So you've got to teach your cattle when they don't have babies how to react to a dog. The dog's got to be fair. It's like training a horse, training the dog. He has to be able to apply pressure, and as soon as there is a release, that cow moves, back off.
Yeah.
Like you quit, and
Yeah.
he doesn't need to be up in their grill. He just backs off, and the cow can become calmer and understand the pressure. And so when you send him around, say it's 500 yards away, he approaches his cattle, and he doesn't just come in and start whacking them, because that's an instant fight. He's asking for, and that's a bad dog in my mind. He's asking for the fight.
Yeah.
If he hangs out 20 or 30 yards off the cows, and they can bellow and shake their head and get their baby up, and he's not applying any pressessure, and that cow can get her life together.
Calf's
and the
doing her
newborn-
job too. She's
has-
supposed to protect.
and
that
we
baby.
want
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You want that. You want that motherly instinct in case there's a coyote that's coming in trying,
Right.
maybe a wolf here in 5 years.
Yeah.
They
They're all
start with-
coyotes. They're all coyotes.
I like that way. Shoot, shovel, and shut up is the best way. But I do think that if a dog is respectful to a cow and she understands the pressure, she'll pick up a calf, and if he's not in it and he can read his bubble, she'll give, and you won't have that trouble of that dog. Once they trust that the dog's not there to eat them,
Yeah.
he's got to be and I'm talking killers that can do that, because if she comes out and hunts him at that 20 or 30 yards, I need him to stay in one spot, not move, grab her, but bite her on the nose. And she says, I don't like that. And she runs back to her baby, and he doesn't follow her up. She can be like, that hurt. I don't want any more of that. I'm going to walk in. But if, like you said, a cow comes out and your dog runs off, that just taught that cow that I can fight and run any dog off. So that's worse for the cow in the long run, because when someone does bring a strong dog, that dog's going to really fight, and that cow's got to be re-educated.
Mm-hmm. And so we're just giving the cows the opportunity to do the right thing, and your dogs are trained to kind of.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Yeah.
I'm just showing them, and
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing. And it is, the dogs are really cool and neat, but at the end of the game, you just want your cows to be moved. Like
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
working man needs the cows to be moved with least trouble. And if you've got a dog running that causing trouble, you probably leave him home next time.
Yeah.
And you lose the benefit. And I think a lot of ranchers have those dogs or have seen those dogs, and they just like leave your dogs at home because they haven't. And the cows have never been trained. Like the craziest thing is once you get your cows somewhat trained, you can take your dog out, and instead of having 2 or 3 cowboys, your dog will do the job.
Yeah.
Yearlings are a different story because they're not protecting their baby.
Yeah.
They can handle a little bit more pressure, but you blow up a set of yearlings. I hope you have a set of fence employees because you're going to be fixing a bit of fence.
Yeah.
Right.
So the dog's got to be respectful.
Yeah.
It's still the same thing, but they've got to learn to respect the cow and their job and
yeah.
humans, the people. It's very easy for the dog to get around in the right spot, and after a minute you're like, hey, push her up.
Yeah.
And the dog does what you say, and the next thing it's cows fight. The dogs read cows better than people do.
Yeah.
They'll know. And they have a different conversation, and they have a little more patience than we do. We want to get going.
We have a timeline, right?
Yeah, and I
They don't.
no, they don't. That's exactly right.
We're working.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I try to tell people is when they send their dog around, it's like, hey, he's in the right spot. He's applying pressure. Don't tell him to push him up. Give that cow a chance to move. And it might take you an extra 15 minutes at the start. But if it's just you and the dog and you don't have 3 other cowboys there at $125 or $150 a day,
Yeah.
I have an extra 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
I can
Yeah.
wait you out.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that too. I mean, I love watching our friends' dogs work their cattle. And when you get me, I love going and I love helping, but I don't know what I'm doing. My husband and daughter are way more handy than I am. And so watching the dogs work and me staying out of the way and then being patient with the people like me who don't know what I'm really doing. I'm just there to get my barrel horses out and
Yeah, get a minute. And that's okay
and
too.
they're so helpful because you don't have to rely on free help like myself.
Yeah.
No.
Saves a few horses too.
Yeah, it really does. My horses are fat, and I'm fat too because I use the dogs, and I drink a lot of beer on my fat horse.
Like off to work.
It was a rough day.
It is, and I really don't touch my horses November till April because I
Because you live in Nevada.
yeah
It's not Australia.
yeah exactly.
Dogs can get out there way better.
And I like to get on my side by sides. I'll run to the Honda
Yeah.
and put my old lady blanket across my legs, and then have 3 dogs in the back. And,
Got a shawl over your head and just ready.
yeah, and I can just send the dogs, and I don't have to get out.
You need a heated jacket next, and you'll be an old grandpa.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is.
Heated jacket, your old lady blanket.
Yeah, there goes Travis.
See you later.
That's what I do, but I really enjoy that when it's like, I'm not catching a freaking horse.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
stupid. I'll get full off. They might crow hop and buck me off because
Yeah.
I can't ride it.
Yeah. You just open the gate for the dog. I like it. Let him out.
Yeah.
They're
Yep.
much happier about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dogs are happy. I'm happy. The cows are somewhat happy, and we just move right along.
Yeah. So, another thing I'd like to talk about a little bit. So, what was it? Has it been 2 years now since you put on that trial here in Elko, Spring Creek?
Yeah, 2 or 3. Yeah, be right around there.
So Travis put on a stock dog trial here in Spring Creek, and it was pretty awesome. Like, it was one of my first experiences other than watching videos on the internet.
Yep.
And
It was really cool.
It was super cool to go watch. And I remember, like, I had my little healer that I was so proud of, and all she does is nip their heels and come back to me. Like, that's literally all.
And be cute.
Yeah, and I talked to Travis about it. I'm like, dude, would she make a trial dog? And he's like, well.
In the nicest way possible.
Then I got to watch his trial, and I was like, oh, he was being nice because that dog gets crap after watching those dogs. But could you talk about a little bit, like, what that experience was? All the planning behind it. Was it a big mess to try and get everything together, or did it kind of flow really easily for you?
I can't take all the credit because my neighbour Brett Caber, that's kind of a rhyme.
Yeah.
He was we helped each other do that. We put it on together, and so it was the preparation for it was. So I'll start from the start. Is we got cattle from the TS, and that was really good. And we went out there and we dog broke them because we had to show them. And I really enjoyed that part.
Yeah.
getting the cattle prepped and more human gentle and more dog broke.
Oh, they're wild.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were they were a little wild. You'd know about that. But yeah, they were a little watchy of people, and so and the dog. And I guess they were good. It was really nice of them to let us use their cows.
Yeah, super nice.
And we dog broke them. And my biggest thing I didn't like about it was the prep and the pressure of wanting to go smooth. Like any event, you want it to be a success. And so we got them in, and we're computer illiterate. So that was a big.
So I understand.
Sadie is
completely get it.
Yeah.
Say tech support.
Yeah, we need tech support Sadie.
Now you know.
Yeah, it's not tech savvy, it's tech Sadie from now
Tech
on.
Sadie from now on. Yeah, I love it. Neat.
Yeah. So, no, it was fun, but I know I really enjoyed putting it on and seeing everyone come and stuff, and we had good reviews.
You really did. People that I did not expect to be excited about your event really were. And before, during, and after, I just saw so much positive reinforcement in our community, and I thought that was really cool because
so important.
I didn't see anything like that around
Yeah.
here.
No, it was really fun, and we got paid out a lot. We put everything back into the trial. Me and Brett did. Brett and I. This is English channel, I guess. So Brett and I.
No.
Yeah, edit. Brett and I. We put a lot in. Put everything back into the trial.
Yeah.
So we paid out, I think, one of the highest paying trials in the US.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Mhm. I
Are you
think
going to put on another one?
Well,
He's getting to that point.
Yeah.
Come on, when's the date? We can do live coverage right here.
It's like, we got it.
No, we got well, there was with the new venue and rates and everything, they doubled the price on us, and I'm just stubborn that way that I think it's not fair that I have to pay for the rate. So I just said no, and I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And so Brett, he's actually building a pretty big facility at his house right here in Spring Creek.
I get an indoor arena.
I don't think it's going to be indoor, but it's
But it looks like a nice outdoor. I've driven by. He's doing a
That's
lot of
gonna
work
be
on it.
amazing.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so
beautiful.
cool.
I spent so many summers at that house when it was the previous owners.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
And so it's very nostalgic for me, and I love seeing what they're doing with that place. It
Oh.
makes me so happy.
Yeah, he's
so
really
many good memories there.
He's putting in such a big effort in there. Anytime he's home, he's working on it, and it's going to be great. I think he's putting some buck and shoots in. It's going to be a great venue, and
Oh, you might be able to put on full production.
yeah, no, that's what he's planning. He
Wow.
wants to put a full blown.
Don't leave out Kendra. She's
That's impressive.
Yeah, Kendra's been
Yeah,
cracking the whip behind the scenes. Yeah.
exactly. No, he's putting on a. It's gonna be a really fancy setup for sure when he's finished, and it's gonna be this summer. So
excited.
you will have to check it out because it's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
be good. But that's where we'll put it on again because I'm cheap and that's free. So and Brett's really into dogs, so it's going to really help. But that's the biggest reason we didn't put it on again is just we couldn't. It's a lot to get these dogs ready, and you're training on them, and you're trying to, and not discouraging anyone that's listening. Like it's the novice class is open to anyone, and it is. You could bring a blue
My little
heeler.
healer.
Yeah, you could bring a dog that you're not that proud of, but you enjoy and you work.
Yeah.
or maybe
Yeah.
you're too proud of.
Yeah.
You thought
There's
it
a
was
lot of
good until you
emotion.
showed up.
But that's the best thing there. Like there isn't, you'll never go out and be like, you could take whatever dog you wanted and you'll never go out and someone will be like, you shouldn't have bring that dog. They'll be like, that dog did this really nice. You should work on this. And there's some of the best guys in the nation that will come up and say that to you. There's not any kind of like, I'll probably get
Like
shot
a
at.
rivalry or like,
I was going to say rodeo snob like I get
no,
around
like-
here.
no.
That's the worst. Let's get along and support each other.
Yeah, everyone.
Makes it more fun.
It is.
really
Everyone's
does.
rooting for you, and you might have a horrible run and be like, "Oh, that sucks. You got a bad cow." Or, "Hey, your dog kind of did this. He did these really good. I'd probably try work on this." Everyone's trying to help you progress, which is why I like it so much, and that's why people are scared. They're like, they have nice dogs at home,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, he's not a trial dog.
Yeah,
It's
competition is scary to anybody.
it is, and it's like, no, just go get your feet wet, get into it,
Dip your toes in.
And everyone was there to support you. And the only thing, the biggest reason for me and a lot of people is you have to get your dog ready for a trial. You will put time into it because you only get out what you put in.
Yeah.
And you'll get your dog better by the trial. And then there's nothing, it's like any type of show. Unless you have the balls or, I guess that's it. If you don't put it in, like if you're not willing to go show it in front of people, and you're sitting in the stands, all the people that talk shit on the stands, screw them because they've never put, if they can't put the they can't show
They're
it.
not putting the dedication into the
Well,
training.
and they can't put themselves out there and be prepared
is
to
the
fail.
hardest part.
Talk once you've done it.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell everyone. I was like, oh, you entered this, right? And they're like, yeah. I was like, you weren't tricked into it? And they're like, no. I was like, well, why the hell are you nervous or worried?
Yeah, exactly. You made the first step. Like,
Grow up.
Yeah.
You entered.
Yeah. Be an adult today.
And you only have up from here from your first show.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the best part is it's the judginess of dog trialing. And I've been in like rodeo and done everything. Like, there is a lot of added pressure from people watching and doing stuff. But
Especially
that is
people you know.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. And
it's almost worse, right?
yeah, it is. Yeah. But if you show up and you enter, it's like, unless they entered, shut the hell up and jump in. Or otherwise I don't want to hear from you.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah.
Good for you for entering.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like showing a horse. I showed a horse at the fair here.
Yeah.
Fell off in front of everyone.
Yeah.
I almost fell off this weekend, so
Yeah.
I feel you.
And the
It's happened to everybody. Probably.
Yeah.
It really did. And it was a little mare that we gave Mary Bransky, was 92 years old. that
I
could ride
watched
that.
it.
Yeah.
I
Oh, you
saw
seen-
you.
yeah.
I saw
Saw him fall off.
No.
Oh,
You were one of the few that didn't. But
she's like,
No, I'd be cheering for sure.
And it was super hurtful to my pride.
Yeah.
Because she's 92 and this horse is an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a freaking like it's a good horse. And I
She
fell
was really
off.
showing you what type of
Yeah.
she had.
Yeah, she did. And I rode it a week. I showed her in Panaca actually, and we ended up second. And I showed her here, and I was like pretty cocky. I was like,
Yeah. Did you wear a strap on then? Like
yeah, I did
in the
wear
show
a strap
before?
on.
That's you know the ones that go on the saddle.
Oh, okay.
Like the racing.
Okay. Yeah. Now that I mention
Now a
it.
rated R show. No, I was being serious.
No, I didn't.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I do know, but I'm.
Yeah, I have that. I'm embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed. Can we take a break because I'm gonna pee my pants? I can't now.
I did know what you're talking about. It was fun watching you explain.
Well, is that? Can you do that? I know kids do it in barrel races, and it gives me a heart attack every time.
yeah.
Yeah, but
You
I
know
know.
what I'm talking about?
I,
And then the kid is on this flying horse.
Michelle, we got it.
Okay.
We confirmed
Okay,
it.
back to dogs. So.
it is fun listening to you. But yeah, that is the same as that when that happened. And no, I didn't wear a strap on.
For all those listening.
Okay.